Another week is in the books. I'm your man, T. Drake.
Yes, sir, and I am Coach T.
And this is the Cowboys Show in OG State of Mind.
Yes, sir.
We are here to discuss another loss for our beloved Cowboys. It went down to the Baltimore Ravens with a score of 28-25.
Yeah.
Like you said, if you didn't watch the game, you probably would have thought it was a close game, but it was an ass kicking.
Yeah.
It was an ass kicking. Glad that in the fourth quarter we showed a little bit of life, but for the most part, we were not in this game.
Yeah, absolutely, no.
So,
fourth quarter, we were already down 28-6.
Already down. It's just another game where we just could not stop anything from a defensive standpoint. Yeah. I mean, they ran the ball wherever they wanted to, inside, outside. Lamar Jackson was special. We thought that we had to hold him at least to around 50, 60 yards. He didn't have to do much because Derrick Henry did a lot, but when he wanted to, the RPO plays that they called were tremendous. It just had our players like with no discipline, no responsibilities. It just didn't look right. So we'll dive into it and talk about this and see if we can take a positive outlook on it and try to see how we can get better. And we've got the Giants coming for week 3, or we go to New York for week 3.
Yeah.
And so we've got to get prepared for that game, Cowboy Nation.
Yeah.
So, Coach T, I'll give you the honors to kick things off.
Oh, man, there you go.
Yeah, I know. We got to talk about it, though. Let's do it.
All right, what we talking about, man?
Let's start on the defensive side of the ball, since that was the area where neither side of the ball played well, but I think the defense is just really, really looking bad. Probably one of the worst defenses we've had in a long time in these first 3 games at least. It looks like our coach that we brought in when Mike McCarthy first took over, we had to end up cutting that guy. He didn't even finish the season out with it. So just dive into the defense. Let us know what you saw. I know you watched the all 22.
Yeah, I did watch a little bit of that. And what I saw, man, was especially the first drive, we were just so overzealous. We were not assignment sound. We were not gap sound. We went for the RPO. We were just ready to hit Derrick Henry.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
and then the time we went to hit Lamar Jackson was D-Law Tank.
Right.
He went early and he handed off.
He had the ball.
Come on, man. It was just undisciplined all the way around. I'm trying to figure out, like, what keys are you reading? You have to have some keys. You have to – I mean, we're in man, and it's an RPO, and your man goes, and we're looking right at the ball.
Yeah. It looks like we didn't even practice it. We didn't know whose assignment was the pitch, who was the quarterback. It just didn't look like a very disciplined team.
No, man, and that's what I'm saying. I was really disappointed. But then again, I got to looking at the stats, and that's our MO. We gave up 93 yards to the Browns, and if it was a closer game, they would have rushed for 100-something, 200 yards. We're averaging giving up 185.7 yards per game on the ground.
Yeah.
You're not going to win games like that, man.
You're not going to win any. The thing is, like, this team. We'll talk about it a little bit more as we dive into this a little deeper, but, I'm looking at it like, is it that the team is still built for Dan Quinn? We don't have the guys to fit Mike Zimmer's style of play? Because it just seems like, unless we get out and we get a lead early and we're in a position where we can just pass rush and kind of get after guys, if we have to play sound-based defense against a team and they're able to run, we struggle, man. We are on the struggle bus.
Hey, you know what? You hit the nail on the head, I think, when you said that about we're set up for Dan Quinn, because Mozzie plays 70% of the snaps. That means we don't have any depth, because Linville Joseph, like you said last week, he's just a blocking sled.
Yeah.
He's on skates out there.
It's just not working out.
No. And Mozzie and Linville, they're getting blocked with by one person a lot of times, man. And like you said, he prides himself on big guys up front.
Yeah.
And we just don't have it to protect our linebackers. And, the linebackers struggling because they got guys coming at them.
Yeah.
The linemen and chip and get on the linebacker.
Yeah. It just like, Mike Zimmer, like you said, his defensive style causes for a more physical defense, especially up front with your big guys, and he just doesn't have it. What he has at the nose tackle position, you got Mozzie, and then the guys that's been lining up behind him, they just haven't been able to get it done. Mozzie, he played better. Looking at the tape, I can't just I mean, can't totally, just discredit him. He did make some plays, but it's just that we're just not getting it as a whole from the whole team. When I look at the linebacker play, a lot of times, there was blocks that were getting down on them, but a lot of times it was like we were just shooting ourselves in the foot.
Wrong gaps,
overrunning. You have Overshown, who's a tremendous talent, but Overshown has got to learn to play within the defense. He's got to know when to break down and make tackles. He's overrunning plays, and he's not the only one. Kendricks is missing on a lot of things. He's in gaps that I think that he should be in. Still, like a lot of times, a step late. On the RPO plays, I have to, watching the tape, I have to get better understanding, because I wouldn't think that both Micah Parsons and Tank would be crashing down so hard on plays and not having any responsibility as far as once the ball gets outside. So I don't know if they're telling them that they're going to crash down and squeeze on the run, and then the linebackers are supposed to fill out and be able to. But
that's my thought, man.
That wasn't working.
When you crash, and you got to have somebody replacing you,
right?
Whether it's a safety coming down or that linebacker coming over top, and like you said, we never had it. So it was the DN or nothing.
Yeah. We took a look at total yards, 456 on 60 plays. I mean, we're giving up enough for the whole season in one game. It's just from a defensive standpoint. I just think that, accountability is the big thing. I'm not going to go into it as looking at it as a Zimmer scheme isn't, is not what we're. I just think from a standpoint that our players are just not executing. We're not tackling well. We're getting lined up late. And one play, the Ravens went with an unbalanced line. It just totally threw us off. It took Michael all the way to the ball was snapped before he even got in position. And then he goes down, and here we go on the outside. It just wasn't a good look for the defense. You've got rookies out there. You got Carson, who's got to play. Carson, made the mistake on that big play. It was Agler.
Absolutely.
That got outside of him on, he comes up on a tackle, takes an inside approach to the tackle, doesn't use the sideline as an extra defender, and here you go. They're rolling.
Bye-bye.
They're rolling. And then, like you said, you went with Overshown, who got the majority of the snaps in this game. And, he made some good plays, but a lot of plays, it's just him not being in the right position. And I just think guys are just, nobody is holding themselves accountable to their own responsibility. It's like everyone wants to make the hero play.
And, my bad, not to cut you off,
go
but
ahead.
that's exactly what Tank and Micah and Trayvon said after the game. I mean, it's too many supermen, too many people trying to do everybody else's job except for their own, and that includes, those who were speaking. And so, they know the problems, but when you said that, man, about is he working with Quinn's guys? Yeah, because Jerry Jones. Well, let me get you this guy. Old guy, he's on the fringe. He might still have some left in the tank. But we'll get him for you instead of when he got the job. Let's make these moves to give him the people we want. We got Kendrick, but
Cowboys Nation, like just looking at it from a standpoint, and there's nothing that we can do about it now. We're in the season. We have who we have, and we're gonna have to roll with them. But Coach, you've been saying this, and you've been talking about this quite a bit this year, and you even said it last year where we were in the hiring process. Why do we always have to get the guy that's been around? He's in the twilight part of his career. Right. These older coaches and stuff, and then you have these youthful guys that are coming in with a new style of offense. They're changing things up. They're giving you different looks off of motion. Right. You got the guys with the Shanahan tree all the way down to guys that was like tight end coaches now that are getting head coaching jobs, and they're just out there scheming against us. And it looks like at some time that maybe some things that we're doing, maybe the game is past us. So
we're not on the cutting edge, man.
There you go.
We like you said, we keep on getting these retreads. Great coaches, but like McCarthy was out the game for a year.
Right.
Zimmer has been out the game for a few years. This is our offensive coordinators, man. And why don't we have the young up and coming coach?
Right.
Last time we had that was Jimmy Johnson.
Right. You got an older owner / GM who's making all the decisions. He's an older guy. He's going with what he thinks is, him and his son's formula is they want to look for an older guy that's been around. If he's got a Super Bowl in his belt, that's something that they really seem like they chase or pursue. And you get these guys in here, and it seems like the game is just advancing, man. Sometimes even the gap between the players and the coaches, that mesh. Sometimes it's you got to get with a more younger movement at some point. And like I think you said, Jason Garrett, and who was the other young guy that we had?
Jimmy Johnson.
Try
to put Chan Gailey out there, but we've gone through. Oh my God! And it comes. I think it also comes down to people that he can, he can basically control. This is what we're going to do. Nobody who's going to pitch a fit like. And when we had somebody, Parcells, who demanded to buy the groceries if he's going to cook the meals,
right?
You know what I mean?
Right.
And then we turned it around,
right? And so you read the different stuff that's out there on social media. I even heard Stephen Smith in his little thing, I think it was yesterday or today, talking about you need to hire Bill Belichick and another older guy, more stuck in his ways. He's got a track record of winning, but we saw what happened after number 12 left, after T12 left. That team wasn't the same. As great as a defensive coordinator and he's been in his past, I don't think that's the answer. But let's focus on our team right now, and let's talk about how we think we can get better. Let's flop over into the offensive side of the ball and talk about that a little bit. I want to talk about. Let's start off talking about CeeDee Lamb, who was supposed to be our number one guy. CeeDee didn't have a good game. It just seems like the drop. Him just being frustrated with the way and the physicality. I think that the Ravens, Humphrey, those guys was playing him. He just boiled over. His temperature, just boiled over. I think once you start whining or just complaining on the sideline, I know you're passionate. I know you want the ball. I know you want to make plays for your team, but
that has never helped.
No, it hasn't. It hasn't, and it's part of an NFL sideline. We saw 88, Michael Irvin. That's his passion. Dez Bryant wanted the ball. They all want the ball, but at some point, just chill, shut your mouth, and go out there and let your play. Let your play. Speak for it. And I just don't like to see that on the sideline. And then you go out and you drop passes, you fumble the ball in a key part of the game when we were going in to kind of close that gap, and we had momentum. That kind of stuff shot us in the foot, and then of course our defense goes out there and gives up 6. Right after it. So, CD, I know you're a player. You've proven that. Let's get on the same page. Blowing up. You don't talk to the media after the game. You're not available. Hey man, you the guy. You wanted that money. You know what I'm saying? You are the guy. You got to step up. You got to be responsible, and you got to be accountable for anything that happens out there. Let's get on the same page, you and Dak, and let's go into New York. This next weekend. Let's bounce back.
Gotta get this.
And then. Talking about, Dak, I know we talked about that. Definitely wasn't his best game this week.
No.
But I looked at it, and a lot of things with Dak, I was looking at some insights, and he says Dak Prescott threw into tight windows on 35% of his pass attempts against the Ravens. And this is the highest rate in over 6 years for him as far as throwing in the tight windows. So that means that whatever we're doing offensively scheming, we're not getting people open. Maybe it's his reading, his reads, his progressions, but Dak has been pretty good being able to go through his reads over the years. So I just don't know what's happening. It seems like, and Coach, I'll let you get in here, it seems like McCarthy in key games, I'm talking about the 49ers games, the Green Bay games, his play call becomes really tight.
No, I'm definitely.
Like almost like he's coming out and he's scared to open up and do the things. Now, when he plays against the Redskins, against the Giants and games like that where he feels like he's dominant, he's open from the start. Got to be able to feel like when we go into a football game, no matter who it is, that we can scheme and whatever we worked on during the week is going to work. Not time to get tight ass.
No, I'm with you, man. We talked about some of these route combinations, man. 4 curls, it's just basic plain Jane. So now now Dak is trying to find the best matchup.
Yeah.
Some of it is route combos, the play selection, and I think some of it is Dak with the wrong reads or whatever. I'm not the one to criticize, but this is just my opinion.
Yeah.
But like on the first play of the game, with the quick swing out, we talked about that. The quick swing out to Rico, It was a foregone conclusion. We're going to Rico, And I don't understand why. When you look on the backside, you had, I think, CD with the slant. You had maybe Tolbert with the out.
Yeah.
So,
They script plays at the beginning of games. You have your plays that are script, but that doesn't mean that you can't, you don't read the play just because you like I said, you go out there, you tell your captains at the toss, we want the football. And I understand it because I think I would have probably did that too. I don't know if I would have rolled that defense out there first. Let's go out there and go down and score and put some pressure on them. But when you come out in the plays that you call first, that halfback pass, then you got Brandon Cooks coming across and
that's what I was wanting to get to. The play action on the second play of the game, we are averaging the third worst in the NFL rushing yards per game. And they're averaging giving up 50 yards on the ground. Yeah. Are they going to go for that?
No, that play action bootleg that's been our staple for the last 3 years, where he fakes the ball and rolls back and tries to hit.
Nobody was open. Everybody knew that was coming.
Everybody knew that was coming. I'm tired of that. Put that one to bed.
Yes,
we gotta get more creative.
Yes,
we gotta get more creative,
and we have to, we have to at least give Rico 10 carries.
Yeah,
give him double figures, man. See what can happen, because in the first 2 drives he was 4 for 18.
That's what I'm saying, Coach. I really thought that we ran the ball, but we always get away from it. And 2, we got to do something about these penalties. These game-changing penalties. I mean, just think about the throw to CD. We finally get one deep in a pass interference call, only to have it reversed because we got somebody that's holding. Or we got 89, our tight end. He jumping and jumped offside one play. Then he gets an illegal block on another. Jake Ferguson's jumping off sides. It's totally undisciplined football. And you're not playing well, you can't have that.
No, now you're talking about the offense, and now we're talking about both sides of the ball. So we talking about the coach,
right?
I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
And it's not like it hasn't been like this. It eased up last year. We got better, but I mean, it's always been something, and that's what it goes back to Jerry Jones. Oh my God! It just frustrates me because we want to stick with, like we had Jason Garrett, and we just kept sticking with Jason Garrett. Like, man, when is it time to move on?
Yeah, he don't want to be accountable as far as, maybe I was wrong. Maybe this guy, no, he picked him. He gonna ride it till the wheels fall off, and he gonna make every excuse in the books of why this guy. Like, to me, I wasn't totally against bringing Zeke back, but you turned that page. Now you go back to it, and we've seen in 3 games, for some reason, you guys are not feeling like he can get it done. It don't look like when you look on tape. The Cleveland Browns game, he looked a little explosive there. But that's a short sample size. But when you look at the next 2 games, you're not even getting him into the game. He's the third back. You might have to just go on and give Dowdle those runs, and maybe even get. Why do you not want to give Dalvin Cook? You signed this guy just to play on the practice squad.
Well, is he in shape?
They said initial was he came in, he looked good. I don't know if you're ramping him up, but I'll give him an opportunity.
Yeah,
give him an opportunity, because what you're trying to do right now is not working. So you got to think about other ways of changing, and maybe he gives us a spark.
But you know what? They're with bringing him in. I think they're coming, trying to figure out, do we sit Zeke or do we sit Deuce?
You're right.
Which I don't. I'm trying to figure out what Deuce is really bringing.
Man, they got Deuce on punt team. Punt return team. He ain't even returning. He up there as a blocker. And like I said, I still don't know why Wanye is returning kicks on kickoff return. Maybe, and he got out to the 30.
You say Wanye. Why isn't Wanye playing?
He needs to play. Devin
we don't
Wilson
have a good rotation.
Has not played his best football. At least give the guy some snaps out there and let's see what he can do, because he's shown in NFL games that he can make plays. Yes. He's shown that. So I would like to see him get some more opportunities. Let's we're kind of diving into that running back thing. What did you see on the offensive line, Coach?
Every time they did a stun or a twist, BB definitely had problems with it. He was latching on to his man so much, and when that other guy came around, he couldn't get loose to pick him up.
Same
And
thing.
yeah. So we really had a tough time with that. They pressed our tackles, Guyton and Terrence. They had their hands full.
Yeah.
And you know that
A lot better game for Steele too.
Yeah.
Damn that time. Guyton wasn't terrible.
I mean, he's a rookie.
He had his plays where they got him. I think he's realized too. Like I see him now. It seems like whenever that guy's feet stop on blocks, he's done.
He's done.
He seemed like he's getting better at that. So someone has brought that to his attention. He's made a mental note of it.
Right.
I thought the guards didn't have their best game.
Zach Martin is. I mean, we're seeing the last of him. I think he's done after this year. He made it known he was trying to contemplate.
You start talking about that.
Yeah, when you start when you start talking about it, that means you mentally done.
Yeah,
and it's looking like he's just not himself, man. The great first ballot guy that he's been for us for these years, man. So that's tough. And you know him working with BB, BB he's getting better, but he's got a lot of work to do, man.
Yeah,
So
he's been really good the first two games. And this third game was probably the two or three plays that I really seen that he really struggled with was that picking up that late, you know what I'm saying, scheme where they bring in the tackle in around late, running right straight up through that gap. So yeah, I think that is things though that we can fix. I just think it's just accountability is what I see. I know that it's been rough, but I think that if we can get the guys to just be, hey, this is what I have to do. I'm going to trust, we watched on the play that Wilson gave up that route in the end zone, where he wanted to go over and they were in a cover three look. Instead of passing him off to Diggs, he's going to turn over there. He gets turned around and they hit it right behind him.
Right.
So that's the kind of thing that we're talking about as far as, just trusting everybody and, everybody holding their own, because if one part of the chain breaks, the link breaks, then everything falls apart, and that's what we're experiencing. So we've got a tough game coming up against the Giants. Any game that we play, there's nothing that's easy for us for this Cowboys team. But this is one that we've got to get a win. We've got to keep pace with the NFC East. We just saw what the Redskins did to the Bengals last night. That was a very good win. That was a very good win for them on the road.
Absolutely.
So we've got our work cut out ahead of us. Is there anything in that Giants game, Coach, from looking at them? I think it should be a game that we should be able to handle. That running game that they have, I don't think it's as good as the first.
No, but our run defense. So I got to see it to believe it. I would love to stop Devin Singletary. I would love to, even though he's on my fantasy team. I would love to, but I just got to see it, man. I don't know, man. Are we disciplined enough? And is Zimmer versatile enough to adjust?
Yeah, man. One thing that I was
you got to
saying,
understand your personnel. You got to coach to your personnel.
Yeah, and one thing that I saw, man, I was looking at it, the Philadelphia versus Saints, the Philadelphia versus New Orleans game. Philadelphia played some 4-6. They played some old 4-6.
Right.
And that might be something that, hey, I don't know at this point, Zimmer, you might have to look at bringing in 4 linemen, man, put someone directly over that nose, man. Let's get these gaps covered. That's just something. You have to do something at this point. And Zimmer's been around, man. I expect Zimmer to make some changes. It's just, will our guys, adapt, and will they get things done? This to me is on the players. Coaching, it hasn't been the best.
You got to adjust now,
Yeah, they got to adjust, and they got to put those guys in the best position. But I really take it on the 11 that's out there. Offense or defense, they just have to get it done. They've got to stop shooting themselves in the foot with so many penalties and so many mistakes.
Absolutely.
And we got to just go out and we got to be able to execute.
Got to get it done, man. It's no excuses, and they're not making excuses. But daggone, man, this is game 3. And we're still talking about the little things, the discipline things as professionals.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm getting tired of. After every game, you got Micah coming. He's saying all the right things. But dude, come on, man. Let's see some of this stuff happen on the field. Let your game speak for yourself. And talking about it after, it's like crying over spilled milk. Over spoiled milk. So we got to get it done.
Yeah, we're going to get it done, man. We have to, so then we get this long break before we go. We ain't going to talk about that yet, but we need to get this Thursday.
Yep.
So we have positive vibes.
Yep.
for
Yep,
the next
get that
game.
long break, get that extra rest in. I know we got a few people that's banged up. We got Carson with a shoulder injury. Who else is on there, Coach, that is a little banged up?
I'm waiting to see John Stevens, man.
Yeah, Stevens hasn't came back out there yet. It was a couple of people. I know that the big one was the shoulder. I think Tank had something, an ailment. There's a few things that were out there as far as injuries that we got some guys coming off of that long week after a Thursday game. You can get guys in there and get them some treatment and get them ready.
Absolutely.
What else you got, Coach? You got any parting shots or something? We're running right up against our time here. I know this is something that's not always good to talk about when you got to come in here and kind of try to rationalize and explain what we think the errors are and how we can get better. But we are at where we're at.
But you know what? This is therapy for me because, like you, I've been a Cowboy fan all my life since '72.
Yes, sir.
And so it's no running from it. Even though Jerry Jones, I don't agree with everything he does.
Right.
But that's my squad. So win or lose, I'm with them.
Yeah.
And, we just hoping we get some more wins, man, and pull this thing together.
Right. Just as you are, Cowboys fans that are out there. And we appreciate you guys anytime that we're hopping on at a couple of things. I know we're new to this. A couple of comments that were in the comment section, I replied back. So keep commenting, subscribe, like, we're not here, just for likes, We do this because of the love that we have for the Cowboys, and we're always sitting around talking about it. Why not get on here and build with people with like minds? So
right.
That's all we got in this week. Coach, I'll let you take us out of here, baby.
No, as always, man, one love. We family. One love, man.
Yes, sir. We'll see you after we get that win against the Giants.
Absolutely.
All right. Peace.